Welcome back. Well, I guess welcome back isn't the right word to use. Welcome.
Already off to a great start.
Oh, that's how you know it's going to be good.
Oh
Uh,
God.
yeah, if you could tell by the title, this is an SCP podcast. Uh, this format's kind of inspired off a podcast called Adeptus Ridiculous, where they talk about Warhammer in an interesting format, and we're basically going to do the same thing, but talking about SCP. Um, and I think Keyshawn, you want to introduce yourself?
Help, Andrew has kidnapped me. Please send the number to 911 help. 40475 help.
Don't listen to that.
No. I'm in his basement. He says he doesn't have one, but I know he does. No, but I know barely anything about SCPs. I kind of know some stuff, but not a lot.
All right. Well, this should start off with one you might know. It was in my SCP one shot that I ran,
Yes.
and
Fun.
this one is probably one of the most important ones to talk about because everyone likes to compare other SCPs to this one. So it's going to be a good baseline. So this is SCP-682, the Immortal Lizard.
Fantastic.
It's got many colloquial names, such as the Immortal Lizards, the very hard to kill lizard, the lizard that hates. It's not a fun time. It is object class Keter, which means it is almost impossible to contain because it is incredibly strong. Basically, it's a big old boy. It's a huge lizard. If you imagine like just a giant like prehistoric crocodile, that's kind of how it looks. It's got like a bone head. There's many like artist depictions of it, and I'll throw one on screen. CP. Yes. And oh my god, come on, Google.
Even Google hates your podcast idea so
Apparently.
much that it wants to sabotage it.
Apparently. But yes, it is a very hard to kill lizard. Its big thing is its regenerative properties. It can regenerate at insane rates, like incredibly fast. And because of these regenerative properties, it keeps the SCP organization unable to actually kill it. Hence its name, the Immortal Lizard.
Yeah, doesn't it have to like dunk it in like acid or something?
I think so. I believe they keep. Let's read. The special containment procedures. Must be destroyed as soon as possible. That's first sentence. Yes, it is. Its containment chamber is filled with hydrochloric acid, and SCP-682 is submerged and incapacitated. Any attempts of SCP-682 to move, speak, or breach containment should be reacted to quickly with full force as called for by the circumstances. So yeah, this thing is bad news. It wouldn't be as much of a problem if it didn't have such an innate desire to kill. It is a not fun boy. I'll post a picture of it in our Discord chat. Yeah,
Yes.
this
I
is what it
remember
looks
this
like.
nightmare fuel.
Yes. Bloody mouth, ripped apart skin, barely on fur. It's not a fun boy. It's huge, incredibly powerful, incredibly strong, but it is sentient. It can speak. The things that it says are more like die, die. I do not wish to speak with you. I merely wish to kill. Here's a transcript log from SCP 682. Doctor Blank. Now, why did you kill those farmers? SCP 682. No verbal communication. Dr. Blank. If you don't talk now, we will remove you from this attempt. What the hell? If you don't talk now, we will remove you from this attempt and place you back into cutoff. SCP-682, incomprehensible. Dr. Blank, pardon? Motions to move closer to a microphone. SCP-682, incomprehensible. Dr. Blank, speak up. Telling a D-class personnel to move the mic closer. 682, they were incomprehensible. Dr. Blank, telling the D-class to move closer. That microphone has only so much gain. Move closer to it. D-class, his throat's messed up, man. Look at it. He ain't talking. Gasps and screams. 682, appearing to assault the D-class's body. They were disgusting. Retreats from Dr. Blank retreats from room. So it's not great at communicating. It mainly it has an innate desire to kill things, just all things, and all human life it wants to eliminate. It detests it.
I noticed a lot of SCPs kind of like have an innate desire to kill all humans, which I wonder why.
Yes, this one I'm pretty sure it's in its nature. There is a lot of interesting stories with this and other SCPs, which we'll talk about later. But for now, this is just a good one to start with because he is very basic. He's just your classic D&D murder hobo.
Why you gotta say it like that?
But it's a good starting basis.
It definitely is. I remember like how this was treated in the one shot, and it was absolutely freaking terrifying. I already knew about the Immortal Lizard, but I didn't quite comprehend like how durable it was until the one shot. Because I was like, yeah, I mean it's immortal. I'm pretty sure it's like Wolverine immortal, right?
Yes,
Where it's like
that's pretty
bullets,
close.
whereas like bullets do something, but
Not
like
much.
it's not. Is well, then it's not Wolverine immortal. Because with Wolverine, bullets do stuff,
Well,
but
yeah,
you
but
know, not.
like imagine like a dinosaur with like Wolverine like durability and like regeneration. Like even if you
Then
hit it
yeah,
with a
then
rocket launcher, it's just kind of move its head away, and then 2 seconds later, it's gonna point it back and just come right at you.
yeah, I'm surprised. Well, I'm pretty sure it's for that reason that they haven't like tried to dissect the Immortal Lizard. And the funny thing is, I'm just like, with a lot of these SCPs, you just kind of have to go like, where did they come from? Like
There are a couple
what?
like some of the SCPs have like lore of how they came into existence. Other ones are
Yeah, some.
still unexplained.
Yeah, a lot of the ones that have lore are just kind of like sad.
Yes. I was actually looking for my list of SCPs from the one shot so we could talk about those first. But for now, we're going to talk about the ones off the top of my head and the ones I know about a little bit better and more personally. Actually, I probably have the link to it. So, do you have any questions
Pleasure.
about Mr. Immortal Lizard? It's pretty self
Uh,
explanatory.
yeah, no, it's very self-explanatory. Basically, the Tarask has regeneration. uh,
Yeah.
you gotta want. What the heck? Oh, okay. You gotta wonder, because I'm pretty sure, like, I forget which SCP it is, but like that girl that can just like rewrite reality whenever she feels like it. You gotta
Yes.
wonder, could she kill the Immortal Lizard? Probably.
Um,
Uh,
it depends. So like every time they've like tried to use an SCP to kill the immortal lizard or like poison or something, it works at first, and then he just gains in like a complete immunity to it.
oh, so it's like Doomsday, where just like every single time he dies, he just regenerates, and now he can't die like that again, which is some bull crap. But okay.
Pretty much. Yeah, I would say that's pretty close.
Yeah, yeah. That's actually terrifying
All right.
because Doomsday is terrifying.
Yeah. So now that we know him and know how powerful he is And he's Keter class because he's always trying to escape, which is why they have to keep him in a bath of acid. Um, we're going to talk about one of my more favorite ones because it is not just a straight up thing, and it is not a straight up murder hobo, and it's a little bit more ambiguous. Whether it's
Ambiguous.
yes, my bad. Whether it's bad or good.
Okay.
So this one's more sad. This is SCP-053, which was also in the second uh, D&D one shot that I talked about a little bit afterwards because you guys didn't really interact with it. I'll send you a picture and I'll put it into the thing. 3. There's a picture in the Discord, and give me a second to put into stream.
Ah. Oh yeah, so this is the girl who could rewrite reality, right?
This is a different girl.
Ah, there's too many girls, man.
There is. There's like a whole like magical girl spin-off in SCP. It's kind of wacky. So 053 is one of the sadder ones. She has a very tragic backstory. So she is, I believe, 8 years old. Actually, younger. She's about 3, if I remember correctly. But I have the SCP link up, so I'm going to just pull that up and know for sure. Physical description. Where is it? Yes, she's a 3-year-old girl.
A 3-year-old. Oh
Yep,
god.
yep. She is a 3-year-old girl, and she awakened in an anomalous property that was not a fun time. So basically, her anomalous property is to just make everyone in a close proximity to her slowly go insane and try to kill other humans around them, and then eventually killing 053. 053 has no control over this anomalous property, and is something that happens innately. So she watched her mother and father literally tear each other to pieces and try to murder her as well.
I think I've heard about this one actually. Like I could have sworn I heard the story behind it. And you know what? It is sad, but it also kind of reminds me of Deceased, which is a comic. Deceased, I guess. And basically, the way that story goes is that, if you know anything about the DC universe, there's this thing called the anti life equation. And basically, Darkseid implanted Cyborg with the anti life equation, which turned him insane. It made Cyborg went back to Earth. And because Cyborg is half cybernetic and half human, basically, he spread the virus through computers, and it just made people go insane. Because like the story was that it's like, oh yeah, anti-life is not death. It is literally anti-life. It is anybody infected with this will cease to not only cease to live, but it will search out other life and kill it too. So that's kind of how it is. Uh and it just kind of makes people go insane, and it's really weird.
Yeah. This is particular sad because she has no control over it. So she's just a 3-year-old girl who like can't interact with pretty much any human in fear of them going literally insane and trying to kill her and hurt themselves. Uh, the only interaction she has with people at the facility is through hazmat suits and panes of glass.
Does
Um,
a hazmat suit really work? Is it like a miasma? Is that how that works?
it is a full atmosphere containment suit and an eye shield.
It's an eye shield too. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So I was
And
about to
no
say, it's
physical
like
contact is to be made with 053.
well, I mean, at least you put some two-way glass in there, and at least you can like, I mean, one-way glass in there, and then just block her out, and then just allow her to see you. You could still like do like At least she's not completely cut off.
Yeah, but still, on like a small child, especially being kept at like the SCP facility, like
Oh no, it's still ridiculous.
even her care is very like robotic and like precise on the schedule. Her containment procedures is she gets kept in a 5 meter by 5 meter room or 16 foot by 16 foot, given adequate room to move. Toys, books, games, and other recreational devices are to be amply provided and rotated out every 3 months. Proper bedding, bathroom, and medical facilities are to be maintained at all times. Food should be provided 3 times daily, and 2 snacks are allowed if requested. Like, sure, it sounds fine until you realize this is a child. It doesn't get to interact with any other children, any other adults, and basically is just left to their own devices. Like, thinking that stayed on, like, a small child.
Yeah, yeah, that's some tough growing up life right there.
But the real reason why I wanted to talk about SCP-053 is she is an incredibly sad child. And the SCP facility uh, tried to get tried to use her in order to eliminate another SCP.
Oh Lord.
Can you guess which SCP this might be?
Uh, okay, they're not stupid enough to say it's the Immortal Lizard.
It's that one.
Really? Why?
And this is what happened.
You know? Yeah, you know what? You told me this before, and honestly, yeah, I can see it. So does
Yes.
this mean that? So does this technically mean that the Immortal Lizard is just insane?
No. So the story behind this was basically I can't remember if they had tried to have the Immortal Lizard eliminate her or if she eliminated the Immortal Lizard. I believe it was they were trying to use her to drive the Immortal Lizard insane and get it to kill itself. It did not work, clearly. Instead, when the Immortal Lizard saw her, they both realized, well, the Immortal Lizard realized that she was another object that humans disdained like him. Something that the only emotions that have ever been put to her were hate and malice for what she is that she had no control over. And he felt like a kinship to that. So they kind of bonded. But she only got to spend one encounter with the Immortal Lizard where they became friends and they've never seen each other since.
Hmm. I mean, that's sad, but at least like there's something there. That
Yeah,
kind of
but when
just
your only friend is just a malice filled creature.
yeah, that does suck. But it kind of makes me wonder. It's like, what happened in the Immortal Lizard's life that would get him to like think that?
Yeah. So
Like,
far, I've
what
been
is the story there?
centralizing the stuff that I've been talking about more around like their interactions with the Immortal Lizard because I find that semi interesting.
Mm.
Um, this next one also has an interaction with the Immortal Lizard. But do you have any more questions about 053?
Not particularly. SCPs don't really leave me with a lot of questions. It just leaves me with, oh, well, that's terrifying.
Yeah, there's a couple ones that are interesting and more interesting to talk about. Like once we learn like about like a good amount of these, we'll start having thought discussions on like what would happen if two SCPs interacted, or two SCPs fought, or if one SCP got a hold of another SCP. Blah 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 blah. Plus, there's interesting doctors in the facility who are just absolute mad lads, like Dr. Bright and Dr. Clef, who have
Oh
a lot
yeah,
of interesting lore behind them.
that
Especially,
dude, Doctor Bright, right there.
uh, Dr. Bright also has a very tragic story behind him, but he's also a
I don't care,
sociopath.
dude. He is exactly that dude is crazy.
He wasn't always a sociopath, though.
Well, yeah, none of them are always.
Well, some of them are. Some of them are definitely all like the Immortal Lizard is definitely always a sociopath.
Oh no, I mean like the humans and in like freaking things, but like when it comes down to it, like freaking Dr. Bright is still a terrible person.
Yeah, yeah, an incredibly terrible person.
Like an increasingly terrible person.
You have to have like some amount of brain damage in order to work at the SCP facilities. It's just for
You have
rules.
to have like a strong amount of brain damage to work with Dr. Bright.
This is true.
Like it's not even a contest. It's just like, okay, why are you here?
Okay, the next one we're doing is SCP-343, who was also in the second SCP one shot. You would know him by his colloquial name, God.
Ah, yes.
A classic man.
Yeah, so from what I know about this one, basically he's just kind of a bro, like honestly.
So,
Like basically your description of what you think God is, that's basically who he is. It's just like this really humble dude that may or may not answer your questions.
yes, he is the Christ depiction of a Christian depiction of God in the Bible. Um, he is interesting. There's a lot of theories about him. He might just be a dude with immense power claiming to be God. There's a lot of theories about him. He definitely has the power to prove that he has this omnipotent uh, potency about him. There you go. There's a picture.
Of course, you give me like this crosshatched detailed picture, elegancia.
Yeah, he's God. It's just who he is. So the SCP
It's
found
just
him
God.
on a routine check, I believe in the 80s. I could pull up his page file. Uh, colloquial name God. Uh, does it not say where he was found? Mm, no, I guess not. But I believe from the videos that I've watched about him, he was basically just lurking around in. It was either Italy or New York. I know those are two very different places, but I can't remember which one was which. Because I know one was found in New York and the other one was found in Italy. But basically, an off-duty dude. There's two stories that are the most prominent. One where an off-duty SCP worker saw this old man teleport from rooftop to rooftop, and he was like, "Guys, I think we got one." And then they politely
Yeah.
asked him, like, "Hey, can you come with us?" And he was like, "Certainly." And then he just went with them. And then the other story was, oh no, I'm mixing up Kane and God, because Kane was
Oh
in New
God,
York.
Kane is another one that's
Kane's the
just like
nice one.
very. Kane is just another one that's very sad, but at the end of the day, it's just like, I mean, you kind of deserve it though.
I don't know. He
Like,
got it rough, and Abel got it so much worse.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Because
we'll
like,
talk about those after this.
yeah, okay.
So SCP-343 or God is he was found in Italy, basically doing some unknown shit, and then the Foundation called him in, and he spoke like he knew SCP-73 and SCP-76, Cain and Abel. Um, he had a bunch of omnipotent knowledge and powers that just simply couldn't be explained. The best known instance of it is in his cell. It looks like a Victorian style, and it looks much larger on the inside than it does on the outside. He simply enjoys talking with people, and he has been known to raise the morale of the facilities that he inhabits. So staff will come to talk to him, and staff will sometimes spend hours talking with him, just unloading the problems, just having discussions, and he'll just sit and listen. And when the staff leave, it feels like the clock will say like only 15 minutes has passed, even though the time that they spent in there was much longer.
Mm.
So he likes talking to quote unquote his children about what's happening and what's going on. He likes to indulge in the stories of mortals, but he doesn't spend too much time intervening in this in what's actually happening in real life.
Which, makes sense.
Yes, he's been known to be very coy when when the director, not the director, when the Foundation's doctors have been asking him questions about some of the other SCPs. One such example is he was questioned on the Immortal Lizard, and he simply said, "That one is not one of my creation."
All right. Well, has anyone gotten into contact with the devil?
Which is a real bra moment coming from God. To further test this, they actually tricked SCP-343 into entering the Immortal Lizard cell. And they simply could not perceive each other's existence. They were occupying the same place. They were in the same cell, but they did not acknowledge the presence of another around them.
That's kind of interesting and weird at the exact same time. Because it's like at one point I kind of get that, but at another it's just like, okay, well, if God didn't create this thing, then who the heck did?
Well, that's the thing. There are other gods in the SCP universe.
Oh yeah, isn't there like Poseidon in the SCP universe?
I'm not sure about that one, but there's a big one called the Scarlet King, and he does a whole bunch of fucked up shit.
Oh yeah, the Scarlet King.
I think there's another one called the Hang King.
I don't know anything about that one.
But they have interesting lore. We'll probably dedicate a whole episode onto that because that one I'm definitely going to have to take time to research. Because when I was doing stuff for like making SCP one shot, I wanted to put in actual stuff that was somewhat survivable.
Well, makes sense.
Before we do Cain and Abel, I want to do one of my favorites just because it's a funny meme.
Okay.
Let me find it. Do you have any other questions about God?
No, not really, because a lot of these are very self-explanatory.
Yeah. Oh, I do have one more thing to say about him, though.
Okay.
So, so I gave you the opportunity to try to get his help, in the SCP campaign when I said Dr. Clef has been rumored to have somewhat of a rapport with quote-unquote SCP-343, and SCP-343 owes Dr. Clef a favor. Dr. Clef worked at a different organization that's very similar to the SCP, but their goal is mainly to just eliminate SCPs instead of securing them. But right. we'll talk about that when we talk about Dr. Clef. What's important is SCP-343. There's a lot of different lore, and no one really knows what's like the truth when it comes to him and the magic girl, the one who can manipulate shit. Now, this is not one of my favorite interpretations of the story, but she was being put in a chemical-induced coma because the Foundation was fearing her power. And apparently 343 trained her somehow. I don't know how, but this is what this story says. This could be true, could not be true. I don't personally subscribe to it. But with Dr. Clef, with SCP-343's help, managed to trap her inside another SCP called the Dead Sea Object, which is basically a huge crystal that changes color, and depending on what color it is, it can trap you in different dimensions. And he trapped himself and the magic girl inside another dimension where her powers didn't work. And that's how they eliminated her.
Oh, okay. I have several questions that I don't think will ever be answered because of that.
Well, we'll answer the one next episode. We'll definitely talk about the Dead Sea object. It is just it has so many different facets to it that it's complicated, and I will have to do some more research before talking about it. But for now, that was the last thing I wanted to say about that. That he has been known to strike deals with Dr. Clef, well, allegedly, and he has also been known to train this magic child. And in some instances of the story, the magic child has been just a regular child, but in other instances, she has been depicted almost like the Antichrist. So we're just gonna move on.
What? Okay.
Oh, he is a safe class SCP. I didn't mention that before.
Well, of course, it's freaking God.
Yeah, they're not really worried about him escaping.
Since when in the Bible has God ever been dangerous?
I don't know, maybe when he flooded the entire world causing genocide, but hey, that's just one example.
Semantics. What semantics? There needs to be a lot of context. Well, he turned someone's wife into salt. That's semantics.
He once said, "Hey, bro, kill your son." Psych!
Semantics. There's the context.
Anywho, we're gonna move on to the next one. And I'm gonna show you the picture of this, and you're gonna guess what it does. Because I think that's gonna be funny.
Okay. Oh God, is it gonna be something disgusting? Because I'm eating apple pie right now.
No, it is not gonna be something disgusing. And I'm gonna show the stream what it is as well. That's what it is. There you go. That's it.
Is that a toilet paper roll?
Yep. What do you think it does?
With an infinity sign?
Yeah, what do you think it does?
See, I would like to say that it's just an infinite toilet paper roll where you don't have to like replace it at all. But knowing the SCP Foundation, there's
let me give you a hint. Its object class is Keter.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna guess that you go to the bathroom and you do your business. And then when you finish doing your business, you like think of something, and when you roll that toilet paper, that thing will appear.
Wow, it is much more dangerous than that.
Oh God, what? So that's the most. That is more dangerous than that. What if you wipe? Do you get sucked into a black hole or something?
So I considered using this in the SCP one shot, but I figured that this could wipe out the party incredibly easily.
Oh.
So this is SCP 2966. What the numbers mean, like if it's in the hundreds, that's the first generation of SCP that was made in the first year of the SCP being a thing.
Two is I know about that.
Yeah, one is second year, two is third, three, so on. So this is called the Infinite Toilet Paper.
Okay.
The scariest part about this is it obeys the laws of thermal foundation? That's not right.
Thermodynamics?
Thermodynamics. It obeys the laws of thermodynamics. Which
oh great.
No matter can be created nor destroyed.
Now, I can already see where this is going, and I do not like it.
Now, to create matter such as a sheet of toilet paper, that takes a lot of energy. Just condensed energy just to create matter. So, if you just took the roll and you started just ripping out as much sheets, as much paper as you possibly could, it would probably nuke Earth.
Gosh.
Taking one sheet is safe, but you would feel the temperature in the room rise quite a bit.
That's not okay. Like, legit, that's not okay.
So reading its actual entry, So it will take SCP-2966 is to be contained at Outpost 117, and at no time shall any other objects be contained within it. A liquid fluorine thorium reactor is to be powered at all times, with the heat exchange directly in thermodynamic contrast with SCP-2966's housing. Before usage of the infinite toilet paper, monitors will ensure that there is at least 2.04 times 10 to the 17th power joules of heat energy available to thermodynamically transfer to SCP-2966's housing. By the way, that's a lot. During use, this heat energy transfer will carefully monitor to match the rate of the matter removal. Yeah. So it's not good. It's not good. It's not good. It's cool. The scariest part about it is it works with physics. Like, and physics are scary.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the next sentence. Infinite toilet paper obeys the laws of mass/energy conversion, and through unknown means absorbs energy from its surroundings in order to create the matter that it makes up the toilet paper. The sheet of the infinite toilet paper weighs approximately 3 grams, which means that approximately 2.04 times 17 to the 16th powers joules of energy, or roughly 65 tons of TNT, is needed to create one sheet of the infinite toilet paper. It is estimated that there are roughly redacted sheets formed within SCP-2966, or a yield of redacted megatons of TNT.
You know what's funny?
What?
I actually almost created a person in my campaign with an ability like this.
That's hilarious.
Because the whole premise, and I got it from game theory, right? Where it's just like, like everything has like undisclosed amount of joules of energy inside of it. It's just the fact that it's like the material doesn't like burn as easily, or it doesn't release it all at the same time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like they were talking about how a plank of wood has like a lot more energy in it than like gunpowder. But the thing is that since it doesn't burn at the exact same time, it doesn't like, release all that energy at once. It's not as dangerous.
Yes.
Uh, and so I created a character in another campaign that could release all the energy that a object had at once.
Oh.
Needless to say, that character was a helper because I didn't want my characters to die. uh, so yeah, laws of physics are very scary because
Is
it's
that
just
what
like
that N dude does?
no, he is much worse.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry about it. But basically, when you get into the laws of physics, it starts like because a lot of people don't realize like laws of physics are very terrifying. It is very scary, especially when you realize the implications. Like when you get into the laws of physics, everything around you becomes dangerous if you do a what if situation.
Yeah.
Uh, because like it's like okay, what if you like take the example of what if you like crumpled a piece of paper down to like I don't know what was it like the molecular level or something, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just like well at that point you just created a black hole. So uh so that's fun. It's real is it gets really messed up after a while.
And I was wrong about one thing. Apparently, when it is activated, the room temperature decreases because it's taking the heat from the air around them. Uh,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
looking at the page for this SCP, and apparently there's an incident log. So we're gonna quickly look at that.
Ah,
On redacted
yes,
date.
yes. Johnny was in the middle of doing his business, and all of a sudden he just took too many rolls, and needless to say, Johnny was stir fried.
Okay. Blah blah blah. A test was conducted in an attempt to see if a reduction in mass could be achieved by rapid removal of SCP-2966 sheets while supplying an excess of energy. This resulted in SCP-2966 immediately going critical. The subsequent energy of, oh god, redacted times 10 to redacted power joules destroyed Outpost 17 and resulted in redacted casualties. Due to Outpost 17's remote location, no non-Foundation casualties were reported. SCP-2966 was recovered unharmed and weighed redacted grams less. Outpost 17 has since been rebuilt and containment reestablished. It's not good.
Needless to say, don't take too many rolls of paper next time.
See, this is an important lesson to all of us to not waste toilet paper, because you never know if you take one too many sheets and it goes fucking critical.
Exactly. Don't take too many rolls of toilet paper. You can't be too careful, man, because one day you might take 2 sheets too many, and then boom, all of a sudden you're done.
Kablammy. Now, I'm going to give you a choice. We can talk about another funny one, or we can talk about Abel and Cain.
Let's talk about another funny one, since I already kind of know about Abel and Cain.
Okay. We talked about this one a little bit during the... this is a funny one. So, we talked about this one a little bit during the SCP one-shot. Oh, this one has a new classification system. Anywho. But this one is quite comical. So I'm going to show you what this is. If you remember it, you remember it. If you don't, I'm going to have you guess what you think it does again. Because it is very funny. Save image. Yes. Oh, never mind. Let me save the image again because it downloaded it. I don't know why I did that.
Yeah, it downloaded as a .cr download file. What the heck?
Yes, I don't understand why. I've never even seen that file before. Very unusual.
Yes, needless to say, Andrew bad at what the action. Oh, is this the one where if it gets tapped into water, it like bananas just spew everywhere? Is this the banana pill?
This is the banana pill.
Oh my gosh, this is like, oh, this was terrifying in the SCP one shot, because like Clock was like, yeah, I'm gonna eat the, like, Clock was a terrible person. Like, just because you're D-class personnel doesn't mean that you have to be a terrible person.
Yeah, I was really hoping someone would go with the wrongly convicted route, or doing the right thing for wrong reasons, very similar to Jean Valjean stealing a loaf of bread to feed his family.
No, freaking Clock was just a terrible person.
No, everyone just chose to be murder hobos. I should have put an end to it, and next time I definitely will, or Clock will get punished for what he's done in the previous one.
But like, that's the thing. He was just like, he was just a terrible person. It was like, okay.
But yes, for people who don't know, this is SCP-3521, the banana pills. Its containment class is safe because it doesn't do anything unless you eat them. Now, this has a funny, very funny backstory. So, this was made by an individual only known by the alias Dado, I believe. Yes? Did I get that right? Is it Dado? I believe it's Dado, unless I'm stupid. Yes, Dado. D-A-D-O. Uh, uh, a, a Russian man who can make anomalous objects somehow. Uh, so this dude said, here's a transcript ripped log in between Dado and an assassin looking to find something to help his job, so to speak. New job is in. I need something from you. What you looking for? When I worked with Little B, he usually got me plutonium. No plutonium. What? Plutonium too easy to trace. Need to be discreet. No plutonium. What do you have in mind? Potassium. How is potassium more discreet than plutonium? Easy to hide. We'll use banana. Bananas are radioactive? Yes. How many bananas do you need? Let me worry about that. When you need. 415. I know you're supposed to be some kind of savant, but I don't know about this. Are you sure that radioactive bananas are more discreet than plutonium? Because I feel like they aren't. Tell me. You see plutonium on the ground. You see banana. Which one you more worried about? I get that, but it's gonna need a lot of bananas, right? Or just one really radioactive one. You need to learn to trust that, though. Banana just as effective as plutonium. Plus, you can't trace banana. Who does finger gets pointed at? Grocery store? Okay. Just wasn't sure. Can't afford to fuck up again. And I don't usually work with new guys. Good. You trust that, though. Everything will be okay. Don't worry. Banana even better than plutonium. So he wasn't wrong. Banana is very better than plutonium. But Dado had created a fucking monster.
How on earth did he get all those bananas into the pills, though? What?
No one knows. And that's the funniest part about it.
So basically, this man just basically he dehydrated a whole bunch of bananas and did the same crap as like the cartoons do. Say is like, oh, add water to like replicate it, only to like a massive degree. Like because didn't you say that if one of these things were to like open up in the organization, it basically leaves the entire organization ruined?
Yeah, filled with bananas and radioactive. It would not be good.
It's just like,
So I do have some more stuff I could tell you about. Addendum 352.1. The collective supply of the banana pills was discovered after a shootout in between the Atlanta Police Department and an unknown group of individuals believed to be connected to a heroin manufacturing ring. During the investigation, the storehouse, in the storehouse of the individuals had been guarding. A bag containing every known instance of the banana pills was discovered alongside a recently registered cell phone, commonly referred to as a burner phone. The contacts of the message contained available in addendum, the next one, which was the text I just read. A full investigation of the storehouse yielded several additional anomalous items, which were recovered by personnel along with the banana pills. Blah, blah, blah. Don't need to talk about those yet. Does it talk about the banana pills? Here we go. The banana pills were recently, what? Am I dumb? Here we go. During processing at Site 92, D-Class chosen for, well, let's call him Paul. D-Class Paul was chosen for testing for the effects of the banana pills. Paul was given a dose of the banana pills and placed under observation. Based on the recovered video footage, you know it's not good when they say recovered video footage.
Oh my gosh.
After roughly 30 minutes, Paul briefly complained about an intense stomach pain before expanding rapidly and disappearing under a quick growth of a growing mass of bananas. The testing chamber was consumed in seconds, and a significant portion of the site's lower levels were destroyed in minutes. Was not good. Rescue efforts began almost immediately as a significant number of staff members were trapped below the surface in areas now inaccessible due to the expanse of bananas. Further hindering rescue efforts was the fact that the mass of bananas, which had quickly collapsed under the pressure of the earth around them into a thick slurry, was incredibly radioactive due to this. The first external notice that Site 92 had been experiencing a critical event was when Site 17 received a radiation warning notification, usually the result of a reactor failure. Not good!
The funny thing is that bananas aren't too radioactive. You would have to have like a crap ton of bananas just to get even close. Like you would have to have a lot of bananas to get to that point. So this means one thing. This guy not only put like a whole bunch of bananas in like a pill somehow, enough to where you could flood an entire freaking laboratory, not a laboratory, an entire floor of people and kill people, which is impressive to say the least. But he irradiated the bananas after before he put the pills in. So he took something that was already like somewhat not even close to being radioactive, but has some radioactive properties, and yet he irradiated the bananas too.
Dado is a very impressive man.
It's like, good God. And you gotta, and honestly, I would say the guy is a war criminal. Like, this is obviously against the Geneva Convention. This is chemical warfare at best. But honestly, if they ever found the guy, I'm pretty sure that they would probably want him to work with the SCPs. Because that's absolutely ridiculous.
Yes, he's one of the few people only known to have created them. Uh, Dado has also created other SCPs. He's created, I believe, SCP-5185, which I'm not too sure about, and he's created, is it? I'm not sure if this one's official, so I'm not gonna read that one out. Actually, I'm gonna double check if it's official or not.
The funniest thing is that, like, because we're doing this podcast on Tuesday, I'm gonna have some sort of bananas on Friday.
Very funny. Oh yeah, this one's official. He's also created something called the boner pill.
Oh God.
And knowing Dado, I'd be very scared.
I'm guessing that pill, like, it works at first, and then after a while, your junk just explodes. It's either that, or every single time you screw someone, they instantly get a boner. Even if they're a woman.
We'll definitely be talking about that one next time.
That's terrifying to think about. Just like either your junk explodes, or every time you screw someone, they just get a boner. Even if they're a woman, it's like it makes them grow a thing, and it's just like, oh God.
Sounds about right.
Dado is a monster. Dado is a goddamn monster guy.
He's quite the individual.
Okay, but now I have a question for you, Andrew.
Yep.
If you took the pills and decided to put them in a Warhammer setting, who would win? Who would win? The Ecclesiarchy or someone with the pills in a bucket of water?
It depends, because I'm pretty sure if you like weaponize them, you could like take out anything. You could ruin half the battlefield.
No,
Uh,
if you have a bucket of water in these pills, you're basically exterminatusing the planet, like automatically. But but like freaking like let's say that you're one of the top that I'm not too big into Warhammer lore, but I know some stuff. Let's say that you're top dog in the Imperium, you're tasked to deal with this guy for heresy, and it's you and your men, your army of 10,000 100,000 1,000,000 men versus some guy in these pills and in a bucket of water. And the guy's just smiling, like, don't come any closer. You don't know what you're gonna do. Like, I feel like the guy with the bucket of water would probably have that hands down. Now, honestly, he wouldn't survive afterwards, but
yeah.
he'd kill everybody else, and I say that's a win in my book.
Well, the only problem is like it depends like how many people he's fighting because most units have so many people like they're like have ships off world, they have armies that expands over horizon. Like if he was fighting like the guard who just have so many numbers who fight in like the billions, like it's fucking insane. I don't even think he'd make a dent. But if he was fighting like a unit of space marines or like custodes, I feel like there is a solid chance he would just fuck him over.
I want there to be a new. I want there to be a missile, and all the missile is like some water, and then a mass amount of these pills in the middle of the missile. And all you do is that you drop it on a planet. As soon as it makes impact, the water submerges the pills. Automatic exterminatus.
Yeah.
And after a while, got a lot of banana trees on the planet. You could save a planet. You can save a planet. You don't have to like burn it. All you have to do is just give them bananas and they will die.
Well, I feel like if you used it against Tyranids, which are like the bug race in Warhammer, they would just like
Yeah.
eat all the
Yeah.
bananas.
Well, Tyranids are a different story because like they would probably eat the bananas and then become irradiated themselves, which would be terrible. But no, I'm
Yeah.
talking about like actual humans.
Well, most
Like
like the humans in Warhammer, like all the
this would
Space
not
Marines are
work.
like heavily like genetically modified, and even some of the guards are from like incredibly like radioactive planets, and they just have the
Well,
equipment
I'm
to
just
survive that shit.
Well, it's not even just the radioactive part. It's literally not only is the stuff radioactive and they're freaking bananas, but also it just kind of like submerges everything and you have to worry about being crushed to death in close quarters. Basically, this is like a tsunami of radioactive bananas. And like
Yeah, I just don't see
once something
space
radioactive comes in
armies
contact with
like space armor crushing under bananas. Like
yeah,
if you
exactly.
got it like in a space marine's mouth, like I could see that like imploding on it. But like unless you got it like in their mouth, I feel like they're just going to be trapped under the bananas, and eventually they'd be able to get out.
Either they would eventually be able to get out or starve to death. But honestly,
Starve to death. They
I
could just
think
take off their helmet and start chomping.
like eat your way out of the bananas. Freaking like they get to the surface. It's like, how many years have passed? It's like it's been 20 years, dude. You mean I've been eating bananas for 20 years? I need something else, man. Ay, ay, ay.
So to
I don't
wrap,
think you can act I don't
to,
think you can actually survive on bananas itself.
I have no idea, and I don't want to test it. All right, to wrap it up, we talked about the banana pills. We talked about the infinite toilet paper. We talked about God. We talked about our little girl, SCP-053. And we talked about the Immortal Lizard. Out of those three, do you well, three? Out of the ones that we talked about today, do you have a favorite?
Is either definitely the little girl or the banana pills. Cause like because like I would say the infinite toilet paper, but it's like it's ridiculous and not at the exact same time.
Mm.
Because it follows the laws of physics, and it's just like, okay, well, yeah, if there was a thing like that, then I could definitely see that going wrong. So yeah, I would say that is the most accurate out of all of them. As as for my favorite, I would definitely have to go with either the little girl or the pills.
There's so many different pills
Because the
and
little
like
girl,
in SCP. Like some of them, like SCP-500, it's just a cure-all pill. It's a pill that cures everything. Imagine playing Bean Boozled with SCP pills.
oh my gosh, that's just instant death. That's just instant death. Like freaking, that's just a death wish. That's the type of crap that you tell criminals to do. Like the D class personnel does something terrible. It's like, okay, this is your punishment. You're gonna play Bean Boozled with SCP pills. If you survive, you get to keep working.
Oh my
And
god, what
if
a
I
bra
don't,
moment.
it's like, yeah, no. It's like that's capital punishment right there. That's just terrible.
But for next time, I'm gonna learn about what was it? Was it Crimson King? No, it was, God damn, why can't I remember? I said it like half hour ago. Um, not the Hanging King. Whatever. I'm gonna learn about whatever.
It was the Crimson King.
Okay, I'm gonna learn about whatever the
Important.
Crimson King is, and I'm gonna figure out all the stuff about him. I'm gonna relearn the Dead Sea Object, and the final one I'm gonna talk about is SCP 3929, the boner pills made by Dado again, and that is what we'll talk about next week when we do the podcast again. We've been doing this for an hour, so I think it's time to round it out. Yeah.
If you had to take the red pill or the banana pill,
Which what?
you had to take the red pill or the banana pill. Which one would you take?
It depends which red pill. Because SCP-500 is also red, and it's a cure everything.
That's for me to know and for you to find out.
I think I'd rather shoot myself. I'll be real honest. Both sound like a fate worse than death. But if you enjoyed this, leave a like on the video, subscribe for more content like this. We should be doing one of these every week.
Yes. If we get 100 likes on the video, Andrew will swallow a yellow pill.
No, we'll think about it though.
We've already made the promise, Andrew. Stop destroying the audience's expectation.
If you want to watch a D&D campaign where me and Keyshawn do dumb stuff and he's the DM and I'm one of the players, you can check out Keyshawn's channel. You want to shout out your channel?
Keyshawn Jones Grant.
The link will be in the description.
Yeah, pretty much. I gotta get better with that. I've never had this opportunity.
Wacky. Anywho, thanks. Oh my god. Thanks you guys for watching, and that's it for us. Peace.
Yeah. See you.